JB Cycles here with the weekend update on October 29th, part 2. So, the title, do we get the pop-up or the crash? Well, in my first video my program crashed, so perhaps that was some kind of an omen. Anyway, I showed you the context and my overall view in the first video. So in this second video, let's have a look at what's going on. So here are my wavelets in the S&P daily, and both my yellow and blue wavelets look like they are suggesting a low. It still could be 1 or 2 days away, but this looks like a buying setup, unless we crash. It is a crash setup, somehow, a bit. I have to admit, but it would happen. It should happen very quickly, and it should be a buying opportunity. Well, unless it really crashes. But this says start looking for a long position. That's what it looks like to me. And let's see what's next. I have the hourly data. Dow Jones Industrial. Well, here I show these symmetries. Here we had buying, but it failed. It couldn't produce a real rally. And then we had selling with a symmetrical length, suggesting a low around here. And then we had the next buying phase, and it went up to this point, but it couldn't produce a real rally or breakout. We started going down and suggesting we should look for a low at this point, exactly where we ended on Friday. And looking at my wavelets here, this definitely looks like a buying setup. But, you know, could it be we have to wait for 1 day, 2 days? But here, very soon, we should normally start breaking this trend line, and next point would be this trend line. We could get a cascade of buying signals, and so on. Also, I showed last week, as I said, this was the easy downside. I wouldn't like to be short here, but I also didn't want to get long here. I wanted to look for something like this formation first, and that's what we got, just a little bit more bearish. So my 10-day oscillation or 2-week oscillation seems to be in this configuration as I put it last week. We started a new oscillation at this point. It was very bearish left translated, similar to this one. And we have gone down to this point, where also my 4-week cycle has a low, and the 4-week cycle suggests a pop. So I've been talking about 2-month corrections in the bull market is bullish. Going back 20 years, we rarely find any correction being longer than 2 months. There are a couple that are a little bit longer than 2 months, up to 3 months, and you know, going back to 2004, it was even longer. It was, I don't know, about 4 months or 5 months. But normally we end up around or a bit below the 200-day moving average, and you know, that's where we are at this point. We have had a 3-month correction, and all the market has accomplished is going a little bit below the 200-day moving average. However, we also see this trend line. We actually have broken that one. That could be a bad sign, but it doesn't have to mean anything. When taking the average of many or all of these 2-month corrections, we have the average in green, and we have followed it pretty well, but not here. But one of these analogs looks like this in blue, and we are following this analog from 1999 pretty well. And that one lasted for 90 days, and then we started a rally. So that's the analog I think we are following. So could anything bad happen here? Well, first, I'm not looking at that much at my cycles in this video. Just a quick look. These are my 3 short-term cycles. We have the cycles up here, and here is the composite, and we have bad correlation with these cycles. So I'm not, when my cycles don't work, I don't look at them that much. But we should notice we have a trend line here. This is not the logarithmic chart, but the linear chart. And in the linear chart, we are at support. So again, another factor suggesting we should or could bounce from here, but you know, if we break it, bad things may happen. And could bad things happen? Well, this is the Norwegian index in blue here, and we do have an ominous situation here, because in 2018 we had a very shallow bear market, and I thought we would make an A, B, C bear market with a lower low in 2019, but no, it was a higher low. And then it all ended up as a big topping formation, a failing A, B, C rally, and then we got the COVID crash. And this COVID crash happened very late in the 3.5-year cycle. I think it almost never has happened something like this, that late in the cycle. So actually this was the 3.5-year cycle low. It should have been at this point. And we have a very similar situation in Norway. This was a very shallow bear market. And I thought, well, okay, we will have an A, B, C and make a final bear market low here around the spring or the summer of 23. But it was a higher low. And now again we have this possible failing A, B, C rally. Could we get another COVID crash here? 2 times in a row. Well, unlikely but possible. But I don't like what I see here, this similarity. And the fact that we never had a real capitulation in this bear market for Norway. So I've been looking at the VIX. So the VIX wavelet is now starting to go down, suggesting the VIX should go down and the S&P should go up. So, but we need to see some confirmation, meaning the VIX should go down and the S&P should start going up. So no confirmation, but a signal that it should happen soon. I think that was all I had for today. So yeah, I'm always looking for ABCs when we have a downtrend or a pullback, and typically of this length I have shown here. And what we have here is such an ABC of this typical length. So that, you know, we have a check. We do see a ABC that kind of confirms it is a possible pullback low. And as I showed, my 4-week cycle in orange is now in the bullish phase, giving us a bullish bias for the coming week. So all I see confirms my scenario here. In my opinion, we should be very close to some kind of a low, and the very few next coming days we should start to see the pop-up. So remains to see, but that's my forecast. So see ya.